Hey guys, it's Tony with Wood Tramp Outdoors. Several years ago, I introduced you to Ultimate Survival Tips Tiny Survival Guide, and we've seen a few of their upgraded iterations, and we got a new one. So that's what I want to talk to you about. Hang tight. All right, guys, welcome back. Yeah, the first one was the Tiny Survival Guide. And I told you then that to me, this was good as an introductory level type of guide to show you what you should be focusing on in case you run into a survival situation. Now, there were those that wrote me back or just wrote me and said they were going to put this in their car in case there was an emergency. But to me, that's too late. You know, you need to know what's happening before the disaster happens or before the survival situation hits you. And what impressed me about this is the fact that there are so many subjects that are covered here by David Pilzinski, and I think Craig Caudill was a co-author of this or a contributor of some sort, I think. But you know, it is put together in different categories. You know, here it starts out how to use this guide, and before you go, and do you bug out or do you stay home? Warnings, are you in danger right now? Survival first steps, etc., etc. Then he's got a section on first aid, the prevention, on shelters, and gives you diagrams on how to build these shelters. Fire, shows you different ways to start fire, including how to build a bow drill, and just in case you have to, which is like your last ditch effort. Water, how to procure it, how to boil it, and then you got food, introduction to hunting, how to stay fed in a crisis. I'm not going to go through all these, but I mean, you get what I'm saying. But now, again, let me just reiterate this. This is not designed. I know it's pocket size, and I know that the company says, you know, you can put these in your wallet, and you can put them in your wallet, but if you purchase one and you put in your wallet without studying these, each of these subjects, you're going to find yourself on the short end of the stick if you are in a survival situation. So before you do it, learn, study, research each of these subjects, buy your books, look at YouTube videos, wherever you might be able to learn. There are great schools that are online, like Craig Caudill's Nature Reliance online school. I've looked at some of those. I haven't went through the whole program, but I've looked at some of them. Great lessons on there. Josh Enyart, great bearded Green Beret, great lessons. So that's what I'm getting at. These are kind of an introduction just to kind of get your interest going. Sit down with your family, say, we're going to be learning about this, and take them out and show them how to build a fire or whatever. But this is the first one. And then the next one that came along was the Tiny First Aid Guide. Same premise, same format, same type of platform, tear-resistant paper, water resistant. It's not waterproof. And I guess if you really wanted to get after it, you could tear this, in half. But again, it's put together in sections and panels, and each of them, they're chock full of information. I'm telling you that right now. They are chock full of information. And if you were to use this to learn this particular subject that you're reading on. You know, whether it is giving CPR, clearing an airway, helping somebody to breathe, all these types of things. How to stop the bleed, that's an important part. But it's just not about reading. You know, when you're talking about first aid, you need to have some real hands-on training. You know, if you can't go to a survival school, say that, you know, again, Craig Caudles, Josh Enyart, there is, you know, Dan Wowak's Coalcracker Bushcraft. Every part of the country's got one of these schools in it to where you could attend it, or the Red Cross has a great first aid program. That's what this is all about, you know. Just don't read it, get out and practice. And then he came out with, I think this is when he started, I'm not sure, on these mini survival kits. And you know, I have been real open and honest about my feelings on tiny survival kits. They give you a tiny chance of survival. Now, with that being said, when I saw the ones that Ultimate Survival Tips came out with, I was impressed with these. First of all, they're bigger than an Altoid can, which means you're going to be able to put more items in here. I be honest with you, I don't remember what is in here, and I'm not sure that I want to take the time to do that. But I mean, just show you, I mean, this one has 2 bags for collecting and boiling water. And yes, you can boil water in a bag like this if you've been trained. If you learn how to do it, it can be done without a problem. This has a compass in it. It has a fishing kit in it. Emergency matches are in it. Fire tinder. Got that, you know, that's got a few little boo-boo things like a sterile prep pad, orange duct tape that can be used for a lot of different things. There's even a book of old school matches. Look at that. I'm almost curious to see if these light in here. They probably do. Here's a flashlight, you know, speaking of what's in here. See that? That's a flashlight that's in here. This is a ferro rod and striker all in a package. Got this right there, emergency whistle. Here is, looks like some more bags maybe. There's something that is set in here. Oh no, this is an aqua tab for purifying water. That's nice to have. Little morale booster here, a green apple Jolly Rancher, which I can't stand that. Here is a coffee filter where you can pre-filter water with it. You've got a square of aluminum foil. You can use it for signaling. You can use it for cooking. You can use it to kick down the wind around a fire. Here's a pencil. Writing notes. You got a Fresnel lens in here. You got 2 of them in here. Okay. Various different Band-Aids. You got zip ties, which can be used for a variety of things. Here's some more aqua tabs. Look what you got me doing. Got some Band-Aids in here. This is some triple antibiotic ointment in here. And you've got a small gauze pad sponge. You've got some twisty ties in here. And then you have got 1 small candle if you're celebrating a birthday. That's what it looks like, but it's an emergency candle. I don't think it's beeswax. It looks more like paraffin. But there you get it. I mean, I didn't count those items, and there's an extra Ranger band in here. So you can see his particular kits go beyond the little frivolous ones. You get the frivolous ones. What a word, frivolous. Frivolous ones that a lot of companies have just thrown together to give you something to spend your money on. I'm not going to put that away right now. But that was the third thing that we saw from them. And then the next thing was the tiny survival card. And what this is, it's not a fan fold set of lessons. This is actually a set of tools that has been stamped out of rugged metal And it has 17 different tools that are on here. It has a knife, an arrowhead, numerous sewing needles, fishing hooks, a button hook. It's got a couple saws in here. And it is on a dual magnetic card, so you can keep them organized if you happen to punch them out. You don't have to lose them. It can be more than a one-use type of card. Now, I've never opened them up. He sent me several of these, and I gave them out, and I watch other people use these. This is not something that I would say I'm going to put this together for my life, depend on it. That's not what it is. But what I would do, it's like this kit here. This is not a kit that I would say, oh yeah, you want to put this in your house in case of a disaster or, you know, have a survival situation. No. Your house or even your backpack, you're able to prepare a whole lot better than this right here. But this would be good for your vehicle. It would be good, you know, for your glove compartment, inside your console, in a real down and dirty, you know, in a pinch type of situation. It would work, but it's going to have just a very short period of benefit for you. All of this stuff, very short period of benefit, you know, and you're not going to self-rescue with this kit here if you have very far and very long to go. I'll just say that about it, okay? But this would be great to put together. This kit, slip this in with the Ranger band in case you're in that down and dirty situation. You got 24 hours, 36 hours. I think this could get you through that right there. So that was a great introduction. You know, he's always thinking. And then here recently, in the last 3 months or so, I got another package from David, and in that package was his newest addition to his Tiny series, and this one is called the Tiny Disaster Guide. Can you see that right there? The Tiny Disaster Guide. And this is an addition in this series, and I believe I like this one maybe a little bit more than any of the other ones. And the reason is, I think this one should have came first, David, instead of the other two. Be that as it may, the Disaster Guide is built on the same platform. It is a fan fold, same material, same premise. It takes you through a series of lessons on what you should be studying and what you should be doing before a disaster happens, no matter what type of disaster it is. How to use this guide, your blueprint for a disaster-ready home. I like that because you hear so much about, you know, when something hits the fan, I'm taking off out in the woods. You're goofy if you do. And the reason is your home is your castle. It is your fort. You can fortify it. You can start preparing it now for anything, whether it's a tornado, a snowstorm that knocks out power, whatever it is. You can fortify your home to survive for a pretty long time if you do it right. But if you say, you know, I'm going to get a backpack, you know, even if it's one of these huge things like this from Duluth Pack, you can't see that. I'm not going to take it down, but man, that dude right there, that'll carry up to about 80 pounds of gear. And for those of you that rucked at all in your life, whether it's in, you know, in the Marine Corps or the Army or just whatever, 80 pounds is not fun, and you're not going to go very far very fast. You're going to get wore out, okay? Probably dumping stuff along the journey. That's just a part of it. But let's say you do get out to the woods. Do you know how many people are going to be in those woods that are competing for the same squirrels and rabbits and deers and whatever it is you're trying to do, building shelter? There's only so much real estate out there, boys and girls, and there's only so much resources out there. So that's why I have always said this bug out thing, It sounds, fun. I love the outdoors more than anybody that you'll ever meet. It's been a part of my life forever. But realistically speaking, running out into that scenario, you're going from bad to worse, from the fire into the firing pan, from the fire pan to the fire. You get what I'm saying, frying pan. All right. It's just not a good situation. So planning to stay home. That's just the first part of it. You have to be able to go through this and learn each of these, study them, and it's going to take more than just this. You're going to have to get books that cover every one of these subjects, or find videos from qualified people that are truly qualified and that are truly respected in the community, no matter what you do here. So let me just run through this real fast. I need to slow down talking, don't I? Yeah. 4 marks of a survivor. You got a 3-minute survival guide here. A threat assessment. That is very, very important. Situational awareness is something we do not pay attention to or invest very much of our time, our learning time. Situational awareness. Being aware. Can you walk into a room and be aware of the dangers or the potential dangers? Is there an escape route? What is that person thinking? What is that person thinking over there? Why are they looking this way? That's situational awareness. If you are out and about at a store, situational awareness might save your life. You got attack for a shooter or for terrorism. There's another section. Natural disaster, storms, economic collapse, health crisis, a pandemic. We just went through that. Nuclear, biological, chemical. I'm sure that most people do not invest enough time in researching how those can impact you and what your counter reaction would be. Emergency information, what you write down here. Family, team information, everybody in your family that you need to get a hold of them. If you're operating with MCOMs, then, is there going to be a call sign that everybody is assigned so you're not compromising who you are and your location or the location of somebody within your party? PACE communication plan, that is primary, alternative, contingency, and emergency. That is very, very important. You got a disaster response plan. He's got the 4 levels here, white, yellow, orange, and red. Everything is good here. I love this stuff. Rally, bug out location. Yeah, okay, it's in here, so if you want to read it, but again, I just can't say it enough. Keep your tail inside the 4 walls where you're at and make it safe and make it such that you can stay there for a long time. He spends a lot of time here in regards to bugging out, and a lot of companies have taken advantage of that bug out thing, selling people a lot of gear that they'll never use. That's the truth. Emergency water plan, that is worth its weight in gold itself. Because a lot of folks don't understand how important having water available to you is. It's just not about drinking water, okay? And, people think, well, I got my drinking water and I guess I can use it also to cook, but how about water to put down your toilet whenever you use it? Have you got a plan for that? I don't think he's got a plan in here about how to do, oh yeah, he has some sanitation stuff in here. Yeah, he does. But this is what I'm saying. Water is so important. Just not flushing the toilet. But what happens after you have those 3 or 4 cases of water and they're gone? Do you have a way to collect water? Do you have a way to filter water? Do you know how to do all that? This is going to get you in that direction. This doesn't give you, this is not the end all. This is going to give you a lesson plan, how you can learn to do it, and then you have to take the initiative and do it. Doesn't matter how old you are, how many people's in your home, it could happen to you, you know, and water is going to be one of those things that could be affected. Bug-in food stockpile, Bug-in Forever Food. He's even got a 30-day plan for everything here that you might need. And, you know, to me, I think you should have at least 3 months worth of food available at all times in your emergency pantry. Okay. Shelter plan, off-grid heat, power, lights, and more. Man, that's something you need to think about. Especially here where we are at. We are right smack dab in the center of the country. And the jet stream that affects us comes up from the Gulf and comes down from Canada. And when those two meet in the wintertime, it can be deadly cold. A lot of moisture can collect on the power lines, and it'll bring them down. And you can be without power for days, sometimes weeks. And you got to have a contingency plan to stay warm during that time. It's bad in the summertime when it's 100 degrees out, but you can survive that. But you can't survive 0-degree weather without having some type of way to control your core temperature. Got a security plan in here. Have you ever thought about that? In the case of a disaster, a natural disaster, you know, we just had this pandemic, and the stores were under a lot of pressure. Our supply chain was under a lot of pressure. We managed our way through it because, you know, we limped through it. But, you know, the toilet paper, everybody made fun of that toilet paper thing, all right? Well, that was just a glimpse, a small little glimpse of what can transpire. Long enough, if your supply chain is down and semis and trains and air traffic cannot get goods to your stores or to the distributors in your area, guess what? People are going to start getting hungry. And your favorite neighbor 2 blocks down or 2 doors down that doesn't have any food and thinks that you have it, they're all going to be knocking on your door. Do you have a security plan to protect your home and your loved ones? If not, you need to think about it. This guide helps to get you along that way. First aid. You know, he's got the first aid guide, but this is a good thing to help you to understand why first aid, emergency first aid, is something that you ought to consider. So, yeah, I like this guide. It's not that I don't like the other ones. I like the other ones as well, but, you know, this is the one that I think should have been first, though, because this covers a lot of the bases in this tiny disaster guide. It gets you in the right direction, gets your thinking. And this one came with a Fresnel lens, which is pretty smart because the writing here is very tiny. So this is what I suggest. You get out to his website, ultimatesurvivaltips.com. You can buy these disaster guides on Amazon, on his website. You get on his website, look at the knives that they produce also. Got some really good ones. I still have every knife that they ever sent me. I'll not get rid of them. My favorite out of all of them is the Pac 1 Elite. It's a nice knife. So, the Tiny Disaster Guide. That's what I'm telling you about today. Don't buy it and put it in your wallet. Don't buy it just to throw in your glove compartment or into your rucksack or whatever. Your go bag, if you got one. These are designed to teach you or to give you the guidance to help you to understand what you need to learn before a disaster happens. Okay, so the last thing that I want to make mention of here, I don't need that, is that David was kind enough to send us several of these tiny disaster guides. So, for those of you that want one of these for free, that are new subscribers, write me and tell me I'm gonna put the email in there for you. Write me and tell me that you would like to have the Tiny Disaster Guide, and I will send you one until we run out, okay? So these are gonna go fast probably. So get out there and become a subscriber to our YouTube channel. And yes, it's still under Backwoods Biker because I am too lazy to change it, all right? A lot of work is involved with trying to transfer everything over to Wood Tramp Outdoors, but it's all tied in together. So appreciate it, and I'll make mention of it to you right now, is that we have got a great issue that's coming up in the fall. And the guests that we have on there are very, very sharp and interesting. And we are starting a series on emergency communications and ham radio. And the reason that we decided to do this is because so many people are asking about ham radio once they found out that I was getting involved with it, and that I took my ham radio test, 2 of them, for the technician, which is the entry level, and next level is general, and passed them. You know, a lot of questions about this, and I've got experts that are involved from some very big companies and expert ham radios around the country. It's really interesting. I'm learning a lot myself during these interviews. It's phenomenal. It's going to be a great series, so don't forget that. All right, so that's all that I'm going to say right now. I appreciate you watching. Appreciate all the work that Mr. David at Ultimate Survival Tips is doing, especially with this new one on the Tiny Disaster Guide. Get out to Amazon or his website. Take a look at them. Very cheap insurance for you to be able to learn. Till next time, you guys take care and be safe out there no matter what you're doing.